All right, welcome to my writing cave. This is the first video from my writing cave. However, I'm not making a video just to show you my writing cave. How many times can I say writing cave? Maybe I should call it the Cave of Wonder, because everybody wonders what I get done when I'm sitting in my cave playing with my. Oh, I said that's a Blue Lantern Flash. Big Flash fan. Big Blue Lantern Flash fan. I enjoyed the lanterns. Anyhow, so I'm here to talk about Pitchwars and specifically about how there were 3,133 individuals who applied, and there are 146 mentors, which means literally 95% of the people who applied are not going to get in. And we never talk about plans for when things don't go right. We typically talk about plans only for the great things. I don't know why that is, but I think it's part of our society. We don't talk about how to plan to go forward in adversity as much. And I also feel like sometimes we don't plan for when things go right. Like we don't have a good emotional mechanism for that. But here we go. So if you applied for Pitch Wars, there's a 95% chance that you're not going to get picked. So now is a really good time to make some good, maybe have those feels with yourself like, oh, it's not looking good. But just because it's a long shot doesn't mean it's not going to happen. 146 manuscripts are going to be selected. Yay! Plus the scavenger hunt, which hasn't closed yet either if you're still looking. Um, so there is a possibility you could get in. That would be fantastic. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk real quickly about plans for what to do if you don't get in. Because let's face it, if you do get in, the plans that you make for having not gotten in will be happily wrecked by the good news of, I made it in. So if you're taking this very seriously, you have probably already set up yourself so that you can actually go through a major revision in the next 2 months. Don't give up that time. Hang on to that because you're going to need it anyways. So, what's going to happen is you're going to go through your manuscript now, if at all possible. Go through your manuscript and start coming up with a list of ways that you can actually make it better. So, but Rena, you say, I don't have any critique partners. I don't know how to make it better. All right, so now might be a good time to do some homework. If you can go through the Internet Archives, and I'm certain you can because you're all clever people, go and find a blog hop from like the Writer's Voice or even the Son of a Pitch um, blogs, posts where they have queries and first pages and where people go through and critique queries and first pages. You want to read as many queries and first pages by other people as possible. The reason you want to do this is because it will help you figure out what you think is good writing and what you think is bad writing. Now, Rena, hold on. That sounds crazy, crazy, crazy. Isn't good writing good writing good writing? Um, yes and no. It depends on your genre, and it depends on some other things. Now, there are like some broad, sweeping things like don't use filter words because if you filter something, you make the act of the filter, like I see, I thought, I realized, those are filter words. You make the act of seeing it, thinking it, and realizing it more important than the thing that is seen or is thought or realized. So, I saw a man stand up is different from a man stood up. And you should go through and look for those because you want to kind of remove your character as a filter, except for when it's important for them to actually do the thing. Like if they're actually watching and seeing something specifically is important. Otherwise, get rid of the filter words. That's kind of like, sort of base work. But you might find, for instance, that there are sentence constructs that you don't like. For instance, starting with prepositions like, when this happens, we will blank, or I did this. If you start with I did this in every single sentence, that's gonna be really rough. So you want to go through your manuscript and look for things like that. Um, that's kind of like a very surface level kind of revision set that can pretty easily be taken up by a read through. But you also want to look for things like, does this character have a real meaning and purpose in each and every scene in which they show up? What do they actually want in life? And are they working towards that goal in this scene, or are they propping up my plot? Yeah, because if they're propping up your plot, they're not doing their job. Their job is to, well, be kind of selfish if they're a selfish person, to if they're looking for something or if they're actively deceiving people, then those are the things that they need to be doing for the whole book. Like that's if that's their goal in life is to steal something from someone, then make that their goal. Don't make them the mouthpiece for your background information. They're a real person. Let them be a real person. So read through your manuscript and find all of those things, deepen the character arcs, make the highs higher, make the lows lower. Go through and see where you can make things more relatable. Go through and see if you have like just a situation where your character just gets lucky and finds something or something smashes into them and see if you can make it not a matter of luck but a matter of choice. Like, if your character is out like combing the beach looking for, you know, sand dollars and trips across part of a shipwreck that changes everything, maybe instead of having that just be like random, maybe have your character think, gosh, if I go and I find this part of the shipwreck, I might be able to, have enough money to um, get my dad out of jail, or I might have, the secret piece that the missionaries are looking for that will complete the miracle that will save the town. So have like your character actually going out and looking for them. Have them have, agency. Let them be the person who's making choices and decisions. Don't let luck drive the plot if you can. These are just some big easy things that you can look for that can sometimes be easily changed. And trust me when I say I fall for these all the time. I love the idea of lightning strikes out of nowhere and makes somebody's life just crazy because that's kind of how real life is, but we don't necessarily want real life in our fiction. We sometimes want, we want our characters to make the choices and to do the things and to be the people we're not, basically. Because luck has little to do with how great and awesome they are. So look for those things. Make a list of those things. Then on August 24th, when the Pitch Wars mentees are announced, you're going to do something that's going to be really hard if you're having the feels. You're going to thank your mentors and the hosts. You're going to thank all the people for being really great and having such a fantastic time. If you can't do those things and all you can think about is how terrible things are, probably don't post on Twitter that day. Maybe, nobody's gonna really be hurt if you kind of disappear for a little while. Because that's okay, because you really hoped for this, and I understand that. I did too. I do too. And if I don't get it, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to have the feels. But one of the things is in the face of having the feels, it's useful to be able to say, hey, I'm having the feels right now, but thank you so much for all of your hard work. Um, Now that's easier to say. If you can take the I'm having the feels part out, it's even better. And you can be like, hey Brenda, thanks again for such a fantastic Pitch Wars. I had a great time. This community is wonderful. You can use that if you would like. Feel free if you need like just a template to work with. So you're going to thank your mentors. And then you're going to spend a little bit of time like taking the deep breaths because it's going to sting. And then after you've taken your deep breaths, you're going to go back and you're going to look at the revision list that you made for yourself of things that you think you could fix or change or make better in your manuscript. And then you're going to give yourself a deadline, revise, and you're going to hit your deadline. Why? Why give yourself these deadlines? Well, it turns out publishing is full of deadlines, like deadlines you wouldn't even imagine or believe or anything. Like they're crazy sometimes. Like we want this back as soon as possible. Well, how soon is as soon as possible? They say, how about tomorrow? And you say, but I have a full-time job. And they say, well, it's galley, so, hurry. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it's useful to be able to train yourself into doing deadlines that are reasonable. So, like, a lot of publishing houses don't think it's unreasonable to do an entire edit, a major edit, on your book in 60 days. Some houses don't think it's a real problem to do it in 30 days. It depends on the house. Everybody's different, and everybody's abilities in this manner are different. So, Give yourself a deadline. Revise and work it. Do the thing. You already cleared this time. You already were planning to be participating in Pitchwars. Now that you're not going to be a mentee, you can still participate in Pitchwars by revising the heck out of your manuscript. So go team, go. If you have any questions about anything that I've said, feel free to leave it in the comments or comment on my blog or ask me on Twitter. I absolutely love talking to people and talking about writing, as you can see by how much I have talked about writing in my writing cave, the Cave of Wonders. And if you're a mentor who's like secretly checking this out, see, look, I have cool no, just go based off of the books. Anyhow, excellent pitch war so far, guys. This has been a lot of fun, and I really do hope that everybody gets in. But hmm, math isn't looking good for us. So, take the deep breaths, plan, plan, and then maybe good luck, good news will wreck our well laid plans. That would be great, wouldn't it? Anyhow, good luck again.